So I am currently raising my own little girl, my own inner little girl, and at the same time raising my 8-year-old son. So right now it feels like a 10-year-old is raising an 8-year-old, which is not odd at all for me because that's exactly how I grew up. However, coming to the realization that that was my reality growing up is really, I'm grieving that. I'm grieving the fact that I always had to protect everybody around me and I didn't know how to protect myself, right? Because even though I protected people, like in my, when I say people, I mean my family. So even though I protected my family, they protected me. However, some of those family members that protected me, they would still turn around and bully me, and I didn't know how to protect myself from them because they were protecting me. Does that make sense? So I'm currently in that space of learning how to show up for myself and protect myself and parent my child. And one of the things, not one of the things, that's not a one thing. On numerous occasions growing up, I had to deal with adults coming for me, and my parents did not check it. So since I was a little girl, I've always had to deal with adults talking to me and handling me like I was not a child. That is a traumatic. That was something that was very traumatic. Slow down. That is something that was like very traumatic because although I've been 5'9" since like the third fucking grade, I'm still a child. And I feel like, not even I feel, I know that a lot of adults, it was like some of them they couldn't wait to, like, you ever seen like an adult that can't wait to chastise a kid? Like they're so excited to do it. I encountered that a lot growing up. Now in hindsight, I understand because of the energy that I possess, it irritated a lot of adults that probably should have had their ass in therapy somewhere. So when you grow up like that, like you just, I didn't really, I didn't really have time to sit with how much that affected me. Having to deal with adults and the worst of adults at such a young age. And so sometimes I would attract friends that would be like some of those family members. It would be like they would protect me on one hand, but then on the other hand, it was like they was doing the very shit people that they were protecting me from was doing. I am sitting with all of that and I'm allowing myself to feel all the emotions, you know, but I know that I can't stay there, but I gotta allow myself to feel it. And I'm feeling it a lot, and I keep going back to the age of 10. I'm still trying to figure out the significance. I know that we're technically in the year of 10-1, so maybe that's why it keeps coming up. Because I remember a lot at 10 years old. I do. I remember a lot. I do. And maybe that's why, yeah. But yesterday, I took my son to the pool. And before I took my son to the pool, first of all, let me say this. I have been avoiding going to the pool because I do not like being around people. More specifically, I don't like being around people that don't look like me, especially when it's way more of them than me. That has been the story of my life, going to schools that had more of them than me. So from second grade up until the 8th grade, that's how I was. And my wife, it's so funny because we had a middle school reunion and all of us sat at one table and one of my classmates walked over and was like, why are we the only black folks sitting over here? That's how it always was. At lunch, we would sit here and everybody else would sit where they would sit at. I was exposed to that my entire life. Now, I do appreciate the fact that I was able to be exposed to different cultures, but it's like when you're the only, sometimes when you're like a handful of the only ones, it's like you're a chandelier in a room, but it's also like people are constantly watching you, or you're the butt of their jokes. And That happened a lot growing up. And then when I went to college, I attended Montclair State University. Majority. It was a lot of us, but it was way more of them. So I had to deal with that my entire life of just always being around that. And then even not for nothing, sometimes when I'm around my people that look like me, they they treated me bad, and they said that I acted white, and because I was different and dressed unique, they would make fun of me. So I feel like I didn't really even fit in anywhere. But yesterday, taking my son to the pool, like I literally like was having like a nervous breakdown because I I'm at a space in my life where I'm not letting people just say and do whatever they want to me. I spent my entire life protecting myself from people that think they can say and do whatever they want from me. And I am tired. I am tired. Like, I cannot stress enough how much I was a child. I was a child. I was a child having to deal with grown-ups. It was like my parents was not there. And even though times they were physically there when certain shit was happening, I would still have to be the one to say something. It was like they would like turn off. Literally, like in the conversation would turn off, and I had to be the one to be like, what the fuck? I remember one time my aunt, I love my aunt to death, but my aunt is one of my aunts. She's evolved past that, but at one point, she was that aunt that loved chastising kids. And I remember one day she just kept saying shit to my little brother, my baby brother, to change your life, baby. She just kept saying shit to him, kept saying shit to him. He's about 2 or 3 years younger than her child. Her and my mom both had change your life babies, so they're very close. Her and my little cousin, I'm sorry, my brother and my little cousin are very, very fucking close, very close, like very close. But this particular day they were younger. They had to maybe like 6 and 9, and my little cousin kept doing stuff to my brother, and my mom would not say. Y'all know how little girls could be, but y'all know also in black families, like they have this shit where they think it's cute when kids be fresh. I don't like that. I don't like that. So my little cousin was messing with my brother, and like my aunt, like she kept saying stuff to my brother, and I'm like, well, why are you not saying nothing to your daughter? Why you just keep saying stuff to my brother? Like, why are you doing that? My mother was not saying nothing. So this is already uncomfortable for me because I'm a child. No, I wasn't a child. I'm lying. I was a teenager, like saying something to my aunt. And it's like, no, I'm lying. Y'all, I was in my 20s. My mother had my brother at 19. Either way, like, that was not my place to say something. Like if my mother wasn't there, that would be different. But my mother was literally sitting right there and she did not say nothing. And I had to say stuff. And so it always, because that was like the story of my life, it always looked like I was being fast and being grown. But it literally was me protecting myself and my siblings from the adults around us. Because it was like my mother would just not say nothing. So I'm saying all this to say, having to take my son to the pool yesterday, it was just like I had to literally say to myself, listen, nothing is going to happen. Like, you have to get out of the mindset that you're always going to have to defend and protect your son from people, or defend and protect yourself from people. If it happens, okay, but that's not going to always be the story everywhere you go. So I had to calm myself down. And then I had to, like, I was changing my bathing suits. I was like, oh, I don't like how I feel. And then that was another thing. I never, like, nobody taught me how to be the goddess that I am. Like, I had to teach myself that, because whenever I would walk into a space, the energy would shift, right? Only thing my mom would do when I was younger was be like, oh, this person looking at you, oh, that person looking at you. Like, it was like me and my mom, we were two children, like raising each other. My mother got pregnant at 19, had me at 20. Like, me and my mom grew. My mom was more like my sister. My mother and father was more like my siblings than my actual parents. So my mom would just always comment on people looking at me. But my grandmother was the one who said to me, like, listen, you have a light about yourself. And that's why people respond to you the way that they do. But don't let that dim your light. You keep being the light in the place. I had to teach myself, with the help of my grandmother, how to learn how to be the light in the room and be okay. And I'm still teaching myself. But I love having a wife that protects me, because healers need protectors. They just do. They do. Because when you give off an energy that you are confident, and I'm not talking about I'm being extra and I'm being vain and shallow and all this. No, when you are just, it's like a silent confidence. Like you like, listen, I love me. I worked hard to love me. Like people that are not there, they, when you walk in a room, those demons that them people are carrying with them, they see you standing in your power. They don't know what you've been through. You could be struggling with the same shit that they struggling with, but you're not carrying it with you the way that they are. They will be fucked up to you. They will be fucked up to you. If given the opportunity, they will be. But like, my mama ain't teach me how to deal with that. My grandmother did, and then I had to teach myself how to deal with it. And then having a wife that's very observant to people, like, I got you. You okay? Ain't nobody gonna do shit. And watches like a hawk. But that same way that my wife is about me, that's how I was about everybody around me. I just needed somebody to be that way for me. And so we took him. No, wait, let me back up. Because what was I telling y'all? Oh, because I be going. So even just feeling comfortable in my body, initially. But then I finally figured out, I put on my mom bathing suit, which is a black bathing suit. It got a controlled tummy top. So I put that on, and then I put on my glasses that look like a sun visor. So once I was able to like feel my, and talk myself through, like, ain't nobody gonna fuck with you and your son. You good. You look good, mama. I went outside, and my wife ended up coming with us because by the time I finished pep talking myself, she was done with her workout. So we just all went to the swimming pool together, and it was actually a good time. Like, it really was. It was. But I had to mentally go through all of that to like prepare myself to go outside. So I'm sharing this. It probably was all over the place, but stay with me, y'all. If you stay with me, thank you. Like, I'm just sharing this because this is what goes on in women in black. It's like it's so much. It's so much. It's so much that we deal with, and they don't even be knowing, and still be hating. They don't even be knowing that we got to unpack all of this shit, all the shit, and still be the chandelier in the goddamn room.